The story begins in ancient Korea, during a dangerous period when the country is filled with political conflict, betrayal, and uncertainty. A young king named Gongmin has just returned to Goryo after spending years in the Yuan dynasty. He is now the king of Goryo. But becoming king does not mean he is safe. The people around him are divided. Powerful officials are constantly watching him, waiting for him to make a mistake. The young king knows that if he shows weakness, he could lose his throne. Beside him is his beautiful wife, Queen Nogok. She is originally from the Yuan dynasty and has followed Gongmin back to Goryo. Although she loves her husband, she understands how dangerous their position is. One day, tragedy strikes. The queen is attacked. She is seriously wounded, and the king desperately searches for someone who can save her life. His royal physicians try everything they can. But nothing works. The queen's condition continues to worsen. Gongmin becomes desperate. He doesn't care where the doctor comes from. He only wants someone who can save his wife. Then one of his trusted warriors tells him about a mysterious portal in the sky. According to legend, there is a passage that connects their world to another time. The king's warrior is named Choi Young. He is one of Goryo's most loyal and skilled warriors. Choi Young is not interested in politics. He doesn't care about wealth or power. His only duty is to protect the king. When Gongmin orders him to find a doctor who can save the queen, Choi Young enters the mysterious portal. But what he discovers on the other side completely shocks him. He arrives in modern-day Seoul. Everything is unfamiliar. Cars are moving through the streets. Buildings tower above him. People are carrying strange devices. Choi Young doesn't understand this world. But he has only one thing on his mind. Find a doctor. He eventually finds a woman named Yoo Eun-soo. Eun-soo is a modern plastic surgeon. She is intelligent, confident, and independent. But unlike the people Choi Young has known all his life, Eun-soo has absolutely no idea who he is. When Choi Young approaches her and tells her that he needs her help to save a dying queen, Eun-soo assumes he is part of some strange performance. She doesn't believe him. She thinks the whole situation is ridiculous. But Choi Young refuses to leave without her. He tells her that someone is dying and that she is the only person who can save her. Eun-soo still doesn't understand. Then Choi Young does something that terrifies her. He takes her through the mysterious portal. Suddenly, Eun-soo finds herself in a completely different world. She has been transported hundreds of years into the past. There are no modern hospitals. No ambulances. No electricity. No familiar technology. Instead, she finds herself surrounded by soldiers, royal servants, and people dressed in traditional clothing. Eun-soo is horrified. She realizes that Choi Young wasn't lying. She has traveled through time. Before she can fully understand what has happened, she is taken to the royal palace. The wounded Queen Nogok is lying unconscious. Eun-soo immediately switches into doctor mode. She examines the queen. Although she is frightened, her medical training takes over. She realizes that the queen is in critical condition. Eun-soo begins treating her using the limited medical supplies available. The people around her are amazed. They have never seen medicine practiced in this way. Eun-soo works desperately to save the queen. Eventually, she succeeds in stabilizing her. The king is relieved. For the first time since the attack, he believes his wife may survive. But Eun-soo has a completely different problem. She wants to go home. Immediately. She demands that Choi Young take her back through the portal. But Choi Young refuses. He tells her that she must remain until the queen is completely safe. Eun-soo becomes furious. She tells him that she has a life in modern Seoul. She has a career. She has friends. She has responsibilities. She cannot simply remain in ancient Goryo. But Choi Young has been given an order, and he intends to follow it. The conflict between them begins. Eun-soo sees Choi Young as a dangerous man who kidnapped her. Choi Young sees Eun-soo as a doctor who must fulfill her duty. Neither of them expects their relationship to become important. But fate has already brought them together. Meanwhile, powerful enemies inside Goryo begin making their moves. The king's return has threatened people who have benefited from the old political system. They don't want Gongmin to become a strong king. They want to control him. And they see the queen's injury as an opportunity. If the queen dies, the king will become even more vulnerable. So Eun-soo's arrival creates a new problem for them. She is a strange woman from an unknown world. She has knowledge and medical skills that no one in Goryo understands. Some people begin to suspect that she possesses supernatural abilities. Others believe she could become useful to them. And some want her dead. Choi Young realizes that protecting Eun-soo will be just as difficult as protecting the king. At first, he is annoyed by her. She talks too much. She questions his orders. She doesn't understand the rules of his world. And she constantly demands to go home. But slowly, Choi Young begins to see another side of her. Despite being frightened, Eun-soo continues treating injured people. She doesn't run away when someone needs help. She risks herself to save others. Choi Young begins respecting her courage. Eun-soo also begins to see that Choi Young isn't simply a cold warrior. Behind his quiet expression is a man carrying enormous responsibility. He has lost people he cared about. He has become tired of fighting. But he continues protecting the king because it is his duty. As days pass, something unexpected begins happening between them. They start trusting each other. Eun-soo learns that Choi Young will never abandon someone under his protection. Choi Young learns that Eun-soo is not as selfish as she first appeared. Then Eun-soo discovers something frightening. She may not be able to return to her own time as easily as she thought. The portal that brought her to Goryo does not simply open whenever she wants. She must wait. And while she waits, she becomes increasingly involved in the dangerous political world surrounding the king. The king himself begins changing. Before Eun-soo arrived, Gongmin was uncertain and afraid. But after seeing Eun-soo's courage and Choi Young's loyalty, he begins realizing that he must become stronger. He cannot allow powerful officials to control his kingdom forever. He decides to fight for his authority. But his enemies are already planning their next move. Meanwhile, Eun-soo begins searching for a way back to the future. She believes that if she can find the mysterious portal again, she can return to Seoul. But as she searches, she discovers clues suggesting that her arrival in Goryo may not have been an accident. Someone, or something, may have brought her there for a reason. And the more she learns about Choi Young, the more difficult it becomes for her to imagine leaving him behind. Choi Young also begins realizing that Eun-soo has changed his life. For years, he has lived only as a warrior. He has followed orders without questioning them. He has avoided emotional attachments. But Eun-soo challenges everything he believes. She makes him laugh. She makes him angry. She makes him worry. And most importantly, she makes him want to live for something beyond duty. But neither of them is ready to admit what they are feeling. Then danger suddenly arrives. One of the king's enemies makes a move against the palace. Eun-soo becomes a target. Choi Young immediately steps between her and the attackers. He fights with everything he has. Eun-soo watches in shock as the warrior who once seemed cold and frightening risks his life to protect her. For the first time, she realizes something important. She may have entered the past against her will, but Choi Young has become the person she trusts most. And just as their bond begins growing stronger, Eun-soo discovers that her own future may be connected to Goryo in a way she never imagined. Her journey through time has only just begun. And the love between a modern doctor and an ancient warrior is about to face enemies, political conspiracies, separation, and a destiny neither of them can escape. Yoo Eun-soo has now realized that she is truly trapped in the past. She desperately wants to return to modern Seoul, but the mysterious portal that brought her to Goryo cannot simply be opened whenever she wishes. For now, she has no choice but to remain beside Choi Young. But staying in the royal palace is becoming more dangerous. Eun-soo's medical knowledge has made her extremely valuable. The king sees her as someone who can protect the queen. But the king's enemies see her differently. They believe that anyone with such unusual medical abilities could become a powerful weapon. And they want to control her. Choi Young knows this. That is why he refuses to let Eun-soo wander around alone. Everywhere she goes, he keeps an eye on her. Eun-soo finds his behavior frustrating. She complains that he treats her like a prisoner. Choi Young simply reminds her that the palace is full of people who want to use or kill her. Their arguments become almost routine. But beneath those arguments, something else is developing. They are becoming attached to each other. Eun-soo begins noticing how much Choi Young sacrifices for others. He rarely thinks about himself. Even when he is injured, he continues protecting the king. Even when he is exhausted, he refuses to abandon his responsibilities. One day, Eun-soo notices that Choi Young has been badly injured. She immediately tries to treat him. At first, he refuses. He is accustomed to pain. But Eun-soo doesn't listen.